What is up, everyone? We're back. I mean, we are back. I know, guys, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know what happened. If you didn't watch the game, the Bills fell short, 29-32, in the AFC Championship game. It's the Chiefs again. It was the Chiefs again. So this episode, we're going to just go through our thoughts. We're going to let it out. We're going to be all over the place, but we're going to let it out because we have to. It's been building up, you know what I'm saying?
All need to chill.
But the bright spot, one bright spot, there is, maybe two, but one, Cole Bishop is going to be a good player for years to come. He showed me something, Robyn. He did. Wasn't concerned about him. Mac Jones is a freaking dog. Mac Hollins, my bad. Mac Hollins.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Is a freaking D-O-G. He was the only wide receiver on Sunday that kind of showed up. And if you would have told me that in the beginning of this game, I would have said, you're a liar. How is that? How is Mac Hollins the backpack wearing wide receiver? Like, I don't know. You got to find some humor in this because that game, and I know Bills fan, I feel you. I'm here with you. But we got to get through this, and me and Robyn are going to have a conversation. It's gonna be tough, maybe not. Maybe you're at the stage of acceptance right now, and that's fine because I think I'm there too. So let's talk about it. Robyn, what do you think?
Let's begin with the return of the yips. We're going to talk a little bit about, hi, Sandra.
Hey, Sandra.
We're going to talk a little bit about Josh Allen. And with all due respect, I was listening to Joe Marino's All 22 review of the game, and he made a comment that he said he expected to see that Josh was nervous at the very beginning of the game, but he thought his inability to get a first down was more related to the pressures that were being put on. And I will respectfully disagree with that because I believe that what we saw was a return of the yips. Josh was missing passes. He was not seeing the field. Yeah, he had pressure in his face. But how many times does Josh Allen have pressure in his face? And that doesn't stop him unless he has the yips. So I believe that he very much had the yips, and I believe this is something he needs to address in the off season in terms of understanding how to, and maybe the sports psychologist, Dr. Des, can help him with this, learn how to breathe and get his emotions under better control. Because I believe Josh, we all know Josh. He wants to win more than anything in the world. He wants to win a Super Bowl for Buffalo. He knows that's his destiny. He knows that's why he was put on the earth. And when you get that close, that where you can smell the Super Bowl in your nose, I think it was a lot for Josh. And the team seems, and we know this. Okay, what do we always hear people say? Oh, well, the team follows where the quarterback goes because the quarterback's the leader of the team. Well, if the quarterback is giving off yips, then it doesn't help the whole rest of the team either. So with all due respect to Joe Marino, I disagree with what he said about Josh not having the yips because he has the yips.
Yeah, I just thought he looked nervous. Like he looked a little shook. And I get it. It's a big game, but I expect my all-star quarterback to maintain. Like he almost had 2 interceptions in that first drive, right?
Exactly.
And
Bad decisions.
yeah, it was bad decisions. But you had a question for me, and I don't want to answer it, kind of.
You just go right ahead and answer it anyway.
Someone compared him to Philip Rivers.
Talk to me,
And
girl.
it, I don't even know how to even take that. So I did respond to a post that said it, and I just don't understand how we're comparing a person had retired and then a player that's in their prime and he's not done playing. Now, if Josh is done playing at, I don't know, 40, and we could put 202 aside, Josh is only 28. And if we compare both of them at their age, at the stages, then okay, I'll give you that. But I'm not doing that right now when Josh is still playing. I think people are so quick to put a person on or compare somebody to someone, and I think it's just unfair.
Yeah.
I also think it's unfair, but it is what it is. Josh is in a time when there is a Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Josh has hasn't beat Brady. I mean, I have beat Joe Burrow, but he has beat Lamar. He has beat Mahomes, not in the playoffs. So I'm still riding with Josh. I really wish people would stop. Like, it just annoys me.
Yeah,
Annoys
I
me.
think the part that annoys me the most is it's clickbait.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that now that you have to sort through all the hoorah that people put out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just garbage mostly. And Philip Rivers,
I know. Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers. And you know why it is? It's because at this point of his career, he hasn't accomplished any MVPs, any Super Bowls, anything. So that's why they're comparing him to that. But okay, like I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm just like, all right, okay, okay. But let's move on, because the only thing that I can say that kind of shocked me in this game was O-line play.
indeed.
You and I spoke about it. I'm sorry. You and I spoke about it this whole season, giving praise to Aaron Cromer. Like, he got these guys set and ready and da 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 da. And then,
Spags threw some stuff at them.
yeah.
Spags threw some stuff at them. Chris Jones was playing like his hair was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And even though our run blocking was decent, hi, John.
Yes. Hi, John.
Even though it was decent, we didn't run the ball enough. So I don't think that we ever really got established in terms of a rhythm like we've seen in other games where the Bills will start to run the ball. And it just felt to me like the offensive line was off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether they got spooked by some of the stuff Spags was throwing at them or what the deal was. Maybe they were picking up on some of Josh's nervousness. I don't know, but they were not functioning like we've seen them function throughout most of the season.
As a unit.
As a unit,
Yeah.
they were not. And it was disappointing because we did lose this game in the trenches. Games are won and lost in the trenches. We did lose this game in the trenches because, and this is kind of moving on to the next thing that I want to.
But
Roll.
before you move on to
Go
that,
ahead.
um, and I know everybody was saying where was Cook, what happened to Cook. I went back and watched the game. Like I said yesterday, I watched the game, and Cook had some great runs, some really impressive runs in that game, and then he got hurt, and then they were playing the, I don't want to say the, what was it they did in the 90s with Jim Kelly, the speed
Oh,
up offense.
the hurry up
Yeah,
offense.
the hurry up offense. So they didn't get time in for him to exchange players in. But at some point Cook did get hurt. I was just like they're saying in the chat, I was really disappointed in our O line. I would have never said Spencer Brown, Dawkins. I would have never thought Osiris Torrance. I would have never thought. And this is why. And this is why you need the number 1 seed, because the whole time they're sitting back and just preparing, they're also sitting back looking at what the Bills do, the tendencies of the Bills. And it doesn't help maybe that we also play them in the regular season. So they know some of our tendencies there too, and what Joe Brady likes to do. So, I mean, I'm not giving them out. I'm not. I just think Joe Brady, I think Aaron Cuomo, all in together just, and I hate to say that, especially for Aaron Cromer, that old line was stout this whole season. And it just was like, what happened? What happened?
Well, that, and I believe part of the issue, and I'm just going to say it straight up, I do not like the fact that coaches can interview for jobs while they're in the middle of trying to prepare for a playoff game. And I will say until the moon turns to cheese that the way that this should be done is all teams should be shut down from doing any kind of interviewing, anything, all of the teams, until after the Super Bowl. Push it all back.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, I do, because to be quite honest with you, Joe Brady probably would have went and got a job, but the only job that was available for him at the time was the Saints. And I don't think he was trying to go to the Saints, but I think that was the only thing that was left, I want to say. But I kind of agree with you when it comes to that, because I think like when you're trying to prepare, it is a distraction for coaches to say that it's not. And Joe Brady kept saying, I'm focusing on. I can't tell, Joe, because when you played that game, your focus and what I seen in that game did not look like the Joe Brady stuff that we seen this whole season. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe what we seen was the same shit. Excuse me, I'm getting heightened, and let me lower my voice. What we seen was the same stuff, and maybe, and I get, because they were saying we're not going to change what we do. But we've heard all.
Andy Reid always changes what he does,
right? We've all heard that they don't show their cards, and you know what? I was like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. No, I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe that.
Well, I'll give you an example. We didn't see Jack out of Hollywood Brown during the regular season.
I know.
Okay, we didn't see him at all. And so when the ball started going to Hollywood on every play, I told people even before the game, Hollywood Brown's going to be a big part of this game plan. And he was. And then we'll get into this later. It became very easy for Hollywood Brown because he was being covered by Kyer Elam instead of Christian Benford. But we'll get to that. Yes, thank you, Sandra. It is a distraction. So can we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Because if I didn't have my hair on fire about the offensive line, let me tell you, I certainly did about the defensive line.
That's why she's wearing a cap. Her hair was on fire.
My hair was on fire. I have no hair left. I am telling you, I am so fed up with these mediocre defensive tackles that we bring in on one-year deals. No offense to any of them, okay? But when are we going to get the 5 years? 5 years I've waited. 5 years for a
She's waiting,
one
guys.
defensive tackle. And that is what we are missing in the middle of that defensive line. Ed Oliver would be much better and more effective as a player if we had a giant nose tackle that could move. And they do exist. They do exist. And
They do.
5 years I've been waiting for this to happen. And I could see it in the middle of this game. It was like, oh, it's over. Our defensive line played like dog doo-doo. Von Miller, God bless you, you're done. Greg Rousseau, who was so good through the whole regular season, was not where he was supposed to be a couple of times. And I don't know what's going on, but I really think that we have to do something in terms of emphasizing defensive line acquisitions in the offseason, be it through the draft or free agency. Our defensive line is just not good enough.
It's not. I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to build around Ed Oliver, because you have seen Ed Oliver. If he has a solid guy beside him,
Yes.
Ed Oliver is a beast. And I'm not even blaming Ed Oliver in this game, because I think he played well. To be quite honest with you, like Ed, third downs, Patrick Mahomes could do anything in that game. Like, he was sitting back there. Don't get me wrong. He got sacked. He did, to be quite honest. But when it comes to third down conversions, they were just, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. They got it. Going into this game, we knew that the Bills' third down conversions was a problem. It was a problem. And when whatever your problems are, they become heightened in games that are tight and games that are important. And that's what happened. But that's what happened. And that's what happened. I don't know. I'm with you. They have to go out and get guys. They have to. And me and Robyn are going to talk about it towards the end of this episode. And it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. But Kaiir Elam, I was the last person, I think, to say, and I'll never come on an episode or a show and say that an NFL player is trash. And for everyone that's doing that, I just say, please stop. Because if you can go out there and play the NFL game and don't do what he's done, like, he's just not the guy. He's just not the guy.
He's not. But I will say one thing in defense of him. He was not put on a trajectory for success from the get-go. I have no idea what went on behind the scenes, but for whatever reason, he did not earn the same privilege that, say, Trey White did, also a first rounder, coming in and being supported. It was like from day one, you're not good enough. You're inactive. They didn't work to develop him, I don't think. And it's sad in a way, but I don't think that they've given him the proper support. And if it was obvious, and to me, does it take 4 years to see that he's not a corner? Why couldn't we try him at safety?
Yeah, I think that's one of those bean picks that he might have was just reaching, because I think he was trying to go for McDuffie and maybe you panicked.
Well, here's what we're going to do in the off season. At some point, we're going to talk about Brandon Beane and his.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get in the woods, because I think it's time. I think it was time last year as well, and then he did the yeps, and we're gonna talk about that too. I don't know. I was an opponent of Kaiir Elam's because he's a man guy, and the Bills were going to man a lot this year. And I was like, well, put him in
Yeah.
because he's a man corner. But no, when Benford went down,
He couldn't cover anything.
he was giving. First of all, Kyer, they said Kyer runs is fast as well, and so is
4.39.
Worthy. So why are you giving him so much cushion? Why aren't you bumping him at the line? Like Kyer, like you should know this stuff. And even Sean McDermott was asked at halftime about Kyer and how he needs to step up. And Sean McDermott, for all you Sean McDermott haters, he was like, he's going to show us in this second half. He still had confidence in Elam to come out and show. So it's not like they don't give him enough encouragement or enough chances to prove them wrong. He's just constantly proving them wrong.
But if it isn't working, it's like after 4 years,
yeah,
you should know by now that it's not working with this guy at that position. What else can you do? You know, Milano was a safety at Boston College.
Yeah.
And
but Robyn, at what point do you say, okay, we're done here?
Exactly. And I don't know what that point is. And I don't know because in part, we don't know what the issues were going on behind closed doors, because there are obviously issues. They must have been unhappy with him because they just kept inactivating him.
Yeah.
And didn't give him a chance to develop like they develop other players. So I don't know. The whole thing smells to me like there's pieces of this that we don't really understand.
Yeah.
But I do think that as far as being a corner, I don't think that he can play corner.
Yeah.
Maybe on that's team, maybe
yeah.
Maybe they can bring out something in him that the Bills have not been able to do. I don't know.
I to be quite honest with you, I was surprised they didn't bring out Ingram. To be quite honest with you, I thought Ingram, when he played against Miami, he played fine, and I was just like, okay, give him a shot, and maybe again they were trying to give him another chance, but at some point you got to pull him because he's getting beat. When Benford went down, Patrick Mahomes said, and was like, and he came out and targeted him the whole drive, Robyn.
Yeah, and also at some point, as an aside, maybe during the off season, I'd like to do a podcast talking more about what we do with these concussions, because it was clear that Christian Benford was so concussed. He could hardly sit up. I don't know if people really noticed when they were taking him off on the cart, there was a guy sitting behind him holding him.
Mm-hmm. He had the seatbelt on.
Yes, and holding him. And he looked like he was so out of it. And for them to, if you have a diagnosed concussion, I understand the protocol and all of that, but I do believe that gets massaged to some extent during the playoffs. They wanted him. They knew they needed him. I think he was rushed back, to be honest with you. And if you pass all these neurological tests, you can simply play.
Yeah.
But my concern is what we saw, because a second concussion in such a short period of time can be extremely dangerous. And now he's got to be considered very high risk for concussion.
He's never had a concussion prior to this. He's never had one.
But the problem is what we saw when they carted him off the field. In person A might be able to have 5 concussions and their brain still works just fine. And person B might have 1 concussion and the next concussion does them in. I mean, brains are different. They are
for sure.
completely different, and how people recover from concussions can be completely different.
Yeah.
And so we need to be better, I think, at recognizing when we have a player who is at higher risk,
Mm-hmm.
and being careful with them. That's why they activated Elam in the first place for that game, because they knew if Christian Benford took another hit in the head, he was going to be out of the game. I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons why Elam was activated, because I think they were unsure of how Christian Benford was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And all it took was a friendly fire hit from Damar Hamlin, and he was out.
Yeah. Sad to see, but I think he went on his social media, Instagram, and said
He's
he's doing
okay.
fine. So glad to hear
Wow.
that. So glad to hear that. So another person that got injured was Josh Allen. He broke a bone in his hand, and at halftime, before halftime, actually, they said so.
Is it the same bone that he broke before?
This is his right hand.
Oh,
Yeah. So his right hand. He had a sling on it at the press conference on, I think, Monday, whenever Josh had there, whenever he had his press conference, that's what he had.
well, that might explain why the ball wasn't being thrown so accurately.
Yeah, I'm still not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No.
Yips.
No. You're not. Mm-mm. Sorry, not doing it, Robyn. That they say wide receivers. I know some. If it touches your hands, it's a catch. You're supposed to catch that. I
Right.
don't know. I'm going back down. But you put me there.
I'm sorry.
But I have to give it to you. I have to give it to you when it comes to Dalton Kincaid. You've been saying it this whole season that you felt that he may not be the guy.
Not the guy that we anticipated or hoped that he would be. I definitely think that catch should have been made. And this is what we've seen from Dalton all season. He's got to up his game during the offseason too. The dude needs to learn how to block.
I don't know if he's going to get it though, Robyn. I don't.
Well, then maybe a trade.
Dalton Kincaid was hired. Dalton Kincaid was drafted here for short. See, you got me there. For his sure freaking hands. Where did they go? When he got drafted, they just went away? They just said, what? I can understand it. Dawson Knox, right? I get it. We understand it. Dalton Kincaid came out of college and he was Mr. Sure-handed. And then all of a sudden, he got butter on his hands and now he doesn't know how to catch a ball.
Butter on his hands.
Like, that wasn't the only catch that he missed in that game. It was
I know. I'm feeling you. And I love you. I hope it helps.
When they needed him the most, he dropped the ball.
He did. He dropped the ball, figuratively and literally. Yeah. So, yes, he dropped the ball. So, what do we do with all this? We need to spill the tea.
Oh, yeah. Look at you, Robyn. I love you. Here we go.
I love you more.
For me, come on, just spill that. Come on, just spill that. Spill that tea for me. Spill no dirty tea. Yeah, tell me everything. Come on, just spill that.
Yeah, we're spilling tea.
We're spilling
and you're
tea.
Taking charge here first on Spill the Tea.
Expectations. So, coming to this season, it was a retooling season, right? It was revamped, reworked, whatever. and then we get to the AFC Championship. And then everything about the retooling, the revamping, the reminding of this team still not having a number one wide receiver. Because everybody's eating. Everybody is eating until you can't eat anymore. Our number one wide receiver was Mac Hollins. You brought in Amari Cooper, 30-something-year-old guy who said he still can get separation. He can't get separation. We're going to bring him into an everybody's going to eat wide receiver room. Shakir's not number one, but prior to this whole season starting, I was hearing people say Dalton Kincaid can be the number one wide receiver. He can do it, guys. But then we lose, and then everybody's saying fire Sean McDermott. Low-hanging fruit, guys. Sean McDermott, low-hanging fruit. I would be with you if it was last year. I would be with you with the 13 seconds. I am not with you guys with the fire Sean McDermott this year. I'm not. Every year, if we would have went to the Super Bowl, fire Sean McDermott, we weren't supposed to be there anyway. Remember? Because it was a retooling season. It was a revamping season. It was a re season. If I didn't hear it, it was a re and another re. But now,
it was a re.
Right. We're here, and now we're firing Sean McDermott. Why aren't we firing Joe Brady? Why isn't Joe Brady getting this shit? Oh, wait, because it's the head coach, and if everything falls to foot of him, right? Okay, got you. But remember, it was retooling, and we went a long way for a retooling year and a salary cap that we are, what, was it $7 million or, I don't know, $70 million in dead cap? Come on.
A lot of money in dead cap.
A lot of money in dead cap.
$30 million just for Stephon Diggs.
Can you be mad? Yes. Be mad. Because the season end. But it was a great season. It was. I'm done.
I don't know if I can add anything to that, because that was very well put in all parts of the issue of expectations. And I believe the part that frustrates me the most is what we see happen at the end of a season. 31 teams are all going to go home PO'd.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one team that's going to be happy at the end of it all. And I guess what troubles me more than anything, I'm looking for the right words, but what troubles me the most when I see these crazy expectations happening is what happens when they crash and burn.
Yeah.
And how impolite and disrespectful and horrible the way fans treat each other on social media, especially after a loss. It's these failed expectations that fuel a lot of this. And you have to ask yourself, for those of you that like reading articles, I wrote something for the blog yesterday about how a little piece of us always dies when the Bills lose.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking mostly big games and that sort of thing. But it's true. But it doesn't mean that we have to lose our minds and treat each other like horrible. I mean, just horrible. And I don't like that part of what happens when expectations fail to be accomplished. People lose their minds, and it's not right. You don't have to do that. It's just a game. And when it gets to the point where, and I wrote this, where it's understandable that you feel angry and frustrated and all of the stuff that we've been talking about on this podcast, how you're feeling is normal. But if you continue to feel that way for a long period of time, that's not normal. And you need to get a grip in terms of understanding the place that a sport has in our lives. But Bills fans, we we overly identify. Our whole self-esteem to some extent is attached to the Buffalo Bills. And it's important at times for us to take step back, take a deep breath, and let it go, because there are things that happen that are beyond our control. And if we let that affect who we are as a person, it can become a problem. And
I was that fan though. I'm not gonna lie. I
get
was
it.
that I was that fan maybe 2 years ago, and then like I said, going into going into this with you, I would hold I would hold a loss from for the Bills for a long time. Like I would hold that, and then my kids I think it's just I'm open around my kids like I didn't want to bring that on to my children. So
Exactly.
I had to take a step back, me personally take a step back and say
Check
I
yourself.
don't I had to check myself. I don't affect the game. I'm not running out there on the field. I'm not catching balls for Josh Allen. Like I have nothing in this game. Like I don't have no skin in this game, you know. But I wanted to say this: like the Bills has the most wins in the NFL right now that hasn't won a Super Bowl. The most wins. That is insane.
It's insane.
That's
There's a lot
insane.
of statistics that are insane if you think about it with relationship to the Bills and losing.
But also, too, I just want to be a fan to watch Josh Allen and say that I'm going to enjoy that. If I wasn't a Bills fan, that was a classic football game. It
Mhm.
was. Get it, guys. Refs aside. Refs aside. I get it.
Going
And
there.
again, we're not talking about them. Sorry. We've seen enough. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's a lot. There's a lot. Believe me, I've seen it. And every time I look at it, I get mad. So, but I just want to say, I don't want to go there because it's nasty. It's nasty.
It
But
is.
in closing, Robyn posed a question
I
earlier
did.
in this episode. And what did you want us to know, Robyn?
I want to know what needs to be done to take things to the next level. That's where I think our focus has to be in the future. What are we going to do differently to approach this upcoming season than we've done in the past? And one of the things that I want to bring up, because I haven't seen any news of this, but I don't feel comfortable moving forward with the special teams coordinator that we currently have. I think it's time to change special teams coordinators. Our Too many times this season, I felt like we weren't at our best and we weren't prepared for what
Even in
happened.
this game.
Yes.
Even in this game. I was waiting for it too, though, because it was like, it's going to happen. Because it always does. Like a punt return, whatever, you're just like, okay, good, awesome. Whoo! And then you're like, okay, good, awesome, good. Even Tyler Bass wasn't even concerned about him. Awesome job, Tyler Bass.
Yes.
But the others, he Smiley, you won't be smiling after this season. You gotta go. You have to go, sir.
There's been no innovative approach to special teams. The only reason it, excuse me, in my opinion, hasn't been worse is because of the players that we have, because we have pretty good players on special teams. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are very aware of special teams contributions to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like our special teams is being coordinated by anyone who is innovative.
What was it? 3 years ago, our special teams was really, really good. I want to say
Yes.
4 years ago. And just slowly, last year they stunk. And this year it wasn't as bad, but it was bad. I mean, if you put Tyler Bass in there, yes. Coverage wise, oh my God. Like it just, I mean, I don't know. I'm with you. I need him gone. Like, I'm really shocked that he's not gone now. I think that this organization is not knee jerk where last season or last game you're fired the next day. I think they hesitate and wait a little bit. I don't know why, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he's gone. I'm with you. Draft picks, free agencies, and I see, Max Crosby out there. I see Myles Garrett, but I don't see them pulling the trigger on Myles Garrett because it might just mess up your future along the line because he's going to want money. Even though go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you. He's gonna want to get paid. Max Crosby's gonna want to get paid.
Mm-hmm. But in this draft, there's a lot of defensive players. Like Robyn said, she's been waiting for 5 years for a defensive tackle and a 1-tech this time because last year it was a 3-tech. And I think, come on.
Give me a
come
nose.
on.
Give me
a nose. Yes. Just give her what she wants. Okay, Sean and Brandon Beane.
I've waited 82 years.
And that being said, I know that the press conference is going on right now. We couldn't change our time. It was, it is what it is. We're going to go back and we're going to watch it and we're going to give you our thoughts from the press conference because I'm going to watch it after we get off of here because I think Brandon Beane is so candid. He really lets you know how he's feeling and what he's feeling and if he's not doing what he needs to do, he will say that.
Yes.
He will let you know. So I'm really...
He owns his stuff.
Oh, no, he does. And that's why I like it. But again, if you're looking at Sean McDermott of being fired, right, there's some accountability for Brandon Beane as well.
There is.
And we're going to talk about that coming up on some pods. But next week, Robyn.
Next week, we are going to have our very favorite guest, Dean Kindig, the expert in draft, has his board together, and he is ready to talk. So get your spreadsheets out and join us next week.
And he might be giving a spreadsheet away, right? Is he thinking about giving a spreadsheet away?
Yes, he is. So
we're going to be giving one away on... I don't know how we're going to do it, but we will let you know. Yeah, for sure. And his spreadsheet is like golden. Okay?
Oh man.
He's sent me one over last year. He hasn't sent me one over yet, but oh yeah. I got some names. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready to ask you about.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys are not doing anything, and you're not, it's lunchtime. Take your break. Take your break.
We're going to
join us and we're going to have fun because me and Robyn, we don't know a lot about the draft. And that's why we bring somebody on here to help us out.
And nobody knows more about it.
Yeah. So if you don't know a lot about the draft and you want to know some stuff about it, come back next week at 11 o'clock. We will be here to help you out with this draft. Guys, thank you for always tuning in. We love you.
We love you.
Like, it was a great season, guys. It was a great season. Didn't end well the way we wanted it to, but all in all, it was a great season. We are on the Building Buffalo Network. Go over there and check out some amazing content.
Oh, great stuff.
Great stuff. This is T. This is me. She is Robyn. We are out. Peace, y'all. Until next week.
Go Bills.
And go Bills.